and welcome back to my channel. So I've been doing reading challenges for the past couple of years, and I had a comment recently that was like, hey, would you ever do sort of book related videos? And I hadn't really thought about it because that's not like a main focus, but I do read a lot and it's something I love. So I decided, why not do a couple of book related videos for kind of wrapping up 2019. So today's video is going to be the top 5 books or series, because let's be honest, I had a hard time choosing. So the top 5 books or series that I read during 2019, and these are specifically going to be fiction works. So these are not going to be in any particular order, and I will, like, fair warning, most of them are series because I literally just couldn't choose. But I thought I would just kind of tell you sort of my top 5, say what I liked about them. I don't know, this is going to be kind of an informal sort of test on whether or not you guys would like to see more book-related content. So, number 1, my Harry Potter reread. So, obviously, this is a favorite of mine. I've been reading Harry Potter since I was like 11 years old. Like, it is probably my favorite and most read series of all time. And I like to do a full series reread every couple of years. It doesn't always happen every single year, but like every couple of years. And so recently, well, actually not recently, I think I started this particular series reread probably last year. I've been getting into listening to audiobooks because I do a lot of things where I need to be sitting and like semi-concentrated, you know, things like cooking or cleaning or sewing, where I'm doing stuff, but my mind isn't really engaged. And so I've started listening to audiobooks because that allows me to kind of do 2 things at once. And so as I was getting into this, a friend of mine actually recommended that I listen to the Harry Potter books because Jim Dale, the narrator, is like fantastic. And I was like, all right, you know, why not? I'll give it a shot. So I started doing this reread, like I said, probably last year, and it's honestly taken me this long because the Harry Potter books are still so popular that when I go to put the books on hold at the library, so I use OVERDRIVE / LIBBY, they've kind of switched systems, but I maintain my library card in the United States so that I have access to books. I read so much, it's not really worth me buying them. This saves me a ton of money. So I have to put these books on hold, and honestly, most of the time it takes me between 2 and 4 months to actually get the next audiobook. So it kind of forced me to space things out. So I finally finished listening to the 7th book a couple months ago, probably during the summer, and I have to say, I really enjoyed listening to the books. You kind of get the best of both worlds, where you can imagine the characters because you're hearing somebody reading them and doing the voices, but you don't lose the detail that you lose when you are watching the films. So I really enjoyed it. I think I will probably listen to the audiobooks again in the future. You know, in a couple of years when I'm doing another reread, I will probably listen to the audiobooks again. But that was definitely one of kind of the top series that I re-listened to, even though I know the stories, but it was one of kind of it was a new discovery for me because I had never listened to the audiobooks before. Next up, so fair warning, I actually have 3 audiobook series in my top 5 because very honestly, the only reason I get as much reading done as I do is because I started listening to audiobooks. I used to not have that many hobbies, and so I had a lot of time to read, whereas now I have a lot of hobbies that I'm working on making fonts, I'm making notebooks, I do stuff for YouTube. Like, I have all of these different hobbies that I'm working on. And so the only way that I have been able to still read as much as I would like to is by incorporating audiobooks into my routine. So I have a lot of audiobooks on this top 5 list. So number 4 is another audiobook series. So it is the Maisie Dobbs audiobook series, and this is by, I want to say her name is Jacqueline Winspear. I will link all 5 of them in the description box, so if you guys want to check them out, you can. As I was taking notes, I wrote down the last name of the author and not the first names, but I think her first name is Jacqueline. And this is kind of an example of a sort of type of audiobook that I've really enjoyed listening to, which is fiction detective series that focus on the advent of a new technology, like at that time. So they're kind of historical. So this series is set in the like 30s, 40s, and 50s. And basically Maisie Dobbs is the main character, and there's a whole backstory, but basically she is a psychologist. There is like a tiny bit of the supernatural in it, but a lot of it relies on psychology and reading behavior and like paying attention to body language and all of that kind of stuff. So it's kind of a look at using psychology in crime solving, imagining that this were a female detective back in the 40s who was doing all of this. So it's a really interesting series, and the thing that I like is it's engaging and it's interesting, but it's the kind of thing that I can listen to in an audiobook because it's still a detective series. It still follows a lot of those kinds of tropes and stuff, but I don't know, I've been finding it really interesting. I think I'm like 8 or 9 books in. Like, it's a rather long series, but it's great because I can put it on while I'm doing other stuff and listen, and I love things that look at human behavior, and I love detective series in particular, so this is one that I've really enjoyed. The third book is actually a standalone book. So I finally read Milk and Honey by, I'm gonna get her first name wrong because once again I only wrote down last names. Rumi, I'm gonna say it's Rumi Kaur. And so this book has been making the rounds in social media. I know it's a bestseller and all of that kind of stuff, but for some reason when I first heard about it, I thought it was like more of a classic, like something that had been written a while ago by an older author. I had no idea that it was this like young female, I believe she's from Canada, so Canadian Indian author, and she just has a really, I don't read a lot of poetry. Like, in all honesty, I don't read a lot of poetry. The poetry that I tend to read is like, think Shel Silverstein. I like stuff that's kind of funny and that sort of thing. But I kept hearing about this book and I was like, you know what? I'm really interested. I want to actually read it. And it's split into 4 parts, and there were certain parts that I liked more than others, but I really enjoyed reading her poems. So definitely, if you haven't read it, I would recommend giving it a shot because it was a really, really fascinating read. The second book I read is Wonder by RJ Palacio, and I really love this book. I actually am going to use aspects of it in one of my units for my 11th grade class because one of our new textbooks actually had a mini unit on inclusion, and they used Wonder like in this unit, and I thought that was such a cool way to teach this sort of thing. And it's something that, you know, we try and talk about a little bit, but I don't think we ever spend a lot of time talking about inclusion, and especially with 11th graders, I really just want to focus on that a little bit more this year. And so I read the book in preparation for doing this unit. It's going to be at the end of the year, but I read the book in preparation for doing this unit, and I really liked it. It was a great read. So definitely recommend that one as well. And the last one, number 5, is another audiobook series. So this is the Lady Sherlock audiobook series by, I want to say it's Cheryl Thomas, and again, I will confirm. I know her last name is Thomas for sure. And this is another one where it reimagines the Sherlock Holmes story. So something you have to know about me, I love like reimagined and retold, especially fairy tales, but also things like this where you take a famous literary character and you reimagine in the character in a different way. So this is one where Sherlock Holmes is reimagined as Charlotte Holmes, and she basically invents Sherlock as her like sick invalid brother in order to have this like masculine mouthpiece to take cases and work on things, but she's actually the brains behind the company. And I thought it was just an interesting look at, so it's set in Victorian England, and I thought it was an interesting look at the ways that in like a male-driven society, a female could like take back power and still do detective solving. Like, there's a lot of aspects of this that I really enjoy. There's the detective, there's the like feminism side to it, there's the reimagining side. Like, it's just a fun series to read. And also the 2 main characters, I really enjoy their interactions. So, and also the reimagined Watson is brilliant. Like, I just really am having a lot of fun reading the series, and I'm really sad because I think I've caught up to all the books that she has currently published, so I'm like waiting on the next ones to come out. But I really loved reading that series or listening to that series, but you know what I mean. So I will say it was really, really hard for me to pick 5 books that I really enjoyed, but I will say that in terms of the series, I read probably anywhere between 2 and 5 books of each of the series that I've talked about, and then the 2 like actual books. And I recommend all of them. I had a lot of fun reading them. If you guys are interested in seeing any of the other books that I've read during the year, I will leave the link to my GOODREADS profile down in the description box. So if you want to follow me, I post all the books that I read on there so you can take a peek. I never really do reviews. I don't know, I just don't do that. So this is going to be the closest thing you're going to get to a review of the books that I've read during the year. To be perfectly honest, I tend to, pretty much all the books that I've chosen to read, I finished because I like them. It's very rare that I pick a book that I absolutely dislike and just can't finish reading. So, you know, anything that I've read, some I liked more than others, but overall I enjoyed everything that I read in 2019. So if you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I will have a couple more videos coming out about books in the next couple of weeks. So if you have any specific questions about that, they might have to wait for my next video. But that is all I have for you guys for today, and I will see you in my next video. Bye. Hey guys, so if you've made it all the way to the end of this video and are actually watching my end screen and you're not subscribed to my channel, I would really appreciate it if you would. There's a little button right there for you to do it. And if you're interested in watching some more of my videos, I have links to 2 of my older videos off to the left there, so you can check those out if you would like to, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.